Recently, I've had a couple of comments asking if the trading strategy that I use also works on gold. Now, I don't actually trade gold. I mainly focus on Great British Pound, US dollar, USD CAD and USD JPY, using other pairs as confluence to see the currency strength. However, I'm always happy to try and help where I can, and if people are interested in trying to use this strategy on gold, I want to try and provide as much information on this as I can. Now, this strategy is based on price action, so potentially there's no reason why it wouldn't work on gold. We all know that gold is a very volatile pair and the market moves around a lot, particularly on the 1 minute. But apart from that, the theory will remain the same. We'll use the hourly for our trade bias, and we'll use the 1 minute for our entries. So what I'm going to do here on TradeZella is I'm just going to create a new session, and I'm going to go over price action for last week to see if there was any trades that we could have potentially taken. I'll go over every hourly candle and show you exactly what I'm looking for when I'm trading this way. So let's do September the 21st, because today's the 28th. So we'll start on the 21st and we'll go up until today, the 28th. We will do a 5K account. Let's create session. So as always, we will put our chart into the split screen view, hourly on the left, 1 minute on the right. Now I'm going to delete volume straight away because that's not something that I use in my trading. I'm going to go in advanced order. We'll just do 1% per trade, and then we'll go auto break even at 1.5 R, because we do go break even if we get there. And then if we go to sync time frame here, we are able to skip through quicker because it'll skip through whatever candles we are on. So we're on the hourly chart here. So let's skip through now to 6 a.m. because this is when I start looking for trades, 6 a.m. UK time. And we will just go forward one more. And we'll see here that the previous hourly candle has closed bearish. So from 5 till 6, we've got this bearish hourly candle. So we will be looking for sells on the 1 minute chart. Now, let's see if we are potentially going to have a trade entry. Let's skip forward a little bit. We're starting to make higher highs and higher lows now. So we want to see price fails to break a new high, which it isn't going to by the looks of things. This is what can happen sometimes. Price can just continue upwards because what we need is we need the current hourly candle to be in our direction before looking for a trade. That's why we use this split screen view here, because we can see that the hourly candle is clearly bullish. We don't want to be looking for trades until we're closer to be flipping bearish, which by the looks of things we may not do in this candle. So we don't do anything now. We just wait and we watch the markets for price action. We wait till 7 o'clock and we see how the hourly candle is closed. So the 6 till 7 has closed bullish. So now we are looking for buys. So what we want to see on the 1 minute chart is we want to see price making lower lows and lower highs, which it has. And then we want to see the shift from there to there. So if we go to the line chart, hopefully illustrate this better. Lower lows, lower highs. We've then made the lowest point of this candle. And then we are looking for a new higher low to be formed. So that I don't necessarily see that as a higher low yet. I want to see one more candle potentially. Okay, now we can start looking for trades here. If we look, we are currently bullish on the hourly candle. We're making lower lows and lower highs. We've made the lowest point. We've failed to break below this lowest point. So we've got that shift from there to there, which is exactly what we're looking for, where price has been trying to push down, failed. It's now potentially going to push bullish because we have made a new higher low. So if we can break a high and we are currently bullish on the hourly candle, which we are, then that is the whole trading strategy. So we're just going to put a stop loss below the previous low. Now, when I'm backtesting, I do just use a sell stop order just because it's a little bit easier to manage. Whereas in the live markets, I usually use market executions. And the main reason for that is, like I say, we are looking for a previous high to be broken. Now, what can happen sometimes is, particularly if you're with a bad broker, is you can come close to the buy stop order and then price may not actually break it and it may continue down. Now, if you're using buy stops, you may be triggered into this with spreads, particularly on gold. So what I prefer to do is I tend to use market execution. So I'll be sat there just watching the markets ready on my phone on MetaTrader 5 to take a trade. And what I want to see is price clearly break above this high before entering. Now, obviously it's the 1 minute chart. So what can happen is price can push up and we can get in a little bit higher, which I prefer to do rather than using buy stops or sell stops on live markets, just because getting triggered into a trade that didn't break the previous high because of spreads and then price continuing down and stopping you out isn't a very nice feeling. So I much prefer to just wait and take the trade manually. So let's see what happens here. We're either going to push up, get triggered in, or we're going to close below this area, and if we do, I'll just delete the order. So that's exactly what happened. So once we've got this wick, I'm no longer interested in this trade because the original trade idea has been invalidated. Now that shift is also invalidated because we are now making lower lows and lower highs by the looks of things. Price is actually moving a little bit sideways, so we're just going to stay away from this. Now what's happened now is, ideally, what would have happened is we would have got an entry further down here. So we would have made a new higher low down here, break of a high and triggered into the trade. Now, what I don't like to trade is when price has made a new higher low, but it's all the way up here, because by that point we've lost a ton of range. So our stop loss would have to be below here. We won't be able to get triggered into the trade until we make that higher low, which is here, and then break the previous high. So look how much range we've lost. If we look where the current hourly candle is, it's all the way up here. We don't want to be taking trades too high up the hourly candle. We want to be in it closer down here where the candle is just pushing into our direction and there's potentially a lot more momentum to continue pushing this candle up. Whereas buying at the top of a push just doesn't make as much sense. So there was no entry there for me because there's the shift that we're looking for. However, it's all the way up here. So if that would have happened down here, would have broken the high and been just turning bullish on the current hourly candle, I would have taken that trade, but it didn't happen. So now we don't do anything. We wait to see what happens, which price ended up flying up. But either way, let's just keep going. Let's get forward now until the 8 o'clock candle, where I'm guessing we're going to close bullish since I we've pushed bullish so much. Now we are making lower lows and lower highs, so there's potential for an entry here. Now the way I'm looking at this is, if we look on the line chart, making lower lows, lower highs, we haven't shifted yet. We have just continued to make lower lows and lower highs, so we want to see at least one more candle. There we go, there's that shift. That's exactly what we're looking for. So we can see lower lows, lower highs. If we look here on the line chart, there's the lowest point of the candle. There's the new higher low. So we're looking for a break of this high. And if we look on the hourly chart, by the time we break this high, we will be bullish. Now we have just had a pretty big bullish candle. So potentially we're getting into this push a little bit later. But for now, I'm just trying to get as much data as I can on trading gold because it's not something I do, but it's something I'm potentially looking at. But if we look lower lows, lower highs, there's that shift. It's a really nice entry from a 1 minute perspective, provided we do break this high. Now that's exactly why I wait on the live markets. So if you were to put this buy stop in on the live markets, potentially you would have been triggered into that with spreads. Now I'm going to be sat there on my phone waiting for price to clearly break above. It doesn't have to close above. I just need to see the current 1 minute candle breaking above. Now for me, that hasn't broken above, so I'll be sat there waiting, and then as soon as I see price break above here, I would take that buy. But we didn't get that. That's why we have to be patient and wait. Otherwise we would have bought on that candle, triggered in, and then price would have come back down and stopped us out. So that's exactly why I wait. I'm glad that example came up to show that we just need to be patient with the strategy and wait for those clear breaks of highs. Let's see if there's potentially going to be another shift here. No, price is just continuing down. So that for me is, again, it's just too high. We want to see the shift closer to down here while the current hourly candle is bullish. So this is what we do a lot of the time. We just spend our time waiting for price to come to us. We don't want to be chasing trades. We want to see trades come to us. Now, again, what I don't want to see is I don't want to see price moving sideways like this. If I'm looking to sell, I want to see price clearly pushing up, failing to break a high, and then coming down. So for me, there's nothing yet. We just keep waiting. So pretty quiet Monday morning so far. Let's see what's happening now. We have got lower lows and lower highs from here to here. That is... it's a little bit sideways. I mean, from a line chart perspective, no, I'm going to hold off on this one because for me, at the minute, price is still moving sideways. Let's see if we can... Okay, there we go. So we've now broken a low. So even though that is close, if you go to the line chart, it should illustrate it a bit clearer. We have broken that previous low. So I do see that now as price in a downtrend, even though it does look a little bit sideways. We could potentially get into something here. Let's just see if we get a shift, which we do. Price is making lower lows, lower highs. Failure to break this low. Shift from here to here. It's not the cleanest example, and I do much prefer clear trends as opposed to sideways moving markets. However, trading a little bit more aggressively while backtesting is okay, provided that you're doing the right thing, just to get a bit more data. I'm going to take this one, even though it's not the best looking pattern. It does seem to be a little bit more sideways, but lower lows, lower highs, failure to break that low, shift. If we break this high, then yeah, we'll see what happens with this one. Triggered in, price pushes up, we're break even. Let's keep going. Okay, that was a winning trade. It was okay. I mean, the theory was there. We broke the high. We were bullish while we broke the high. We're just a little bit sideways here. We did make that new low. So, yeah, that's okay. Not the best setup. Hopefully we get something a bit cleaner this week. I mean, I didn't look at gold, so I don't actually know what went on. The one thing that I do know here, which is good, is there wasn't a particularly high amount of news on US dollar this week. So hopefully there's not going to be that much of an impact for news, because obviously when there's news, gold is massively affected. So at least we know we can continue to take these trades. Anyway, if you look here, lower lows, lower highs, we've then failed. We get that shift. Let's look at it from a line chart perspective. Lower lows, lower highs. There's the shift. Looks quite aggressive on the line chart, but looks better here. I'm going to wait for one more candle. See if we get... Okay. If we get bullish candle... No, if we got a bullish candle there, then I would have seen that shift. But once you violate this lower low, then we're just continuing down. We're just still on a downtrend. We're still bearish on the current hourly candle. Let's just hold on. Let's not do anything. Let's wait for that shift, which we're getting now. It's just a little bit too far away from this low. What I love to see is price make a low and then give us that shift really close so we can have a nice tight entry. That for me is just a little bit too far away from there to there. It just means that we just lose all this range, because we'd have to wait for the shift, which is there to there. We'd have to wait for a high to be broken. We are bullish on the current hourly candle, but that is too far away for me, so I'm going to stay away from that. We did break the high. We did push up. Potentially break even. I don't know, but yeah, that's just not something I like to take. It's potentially a break even trade, but anyway, if I don't like it, I'm not going to take it. Like I say, I'm more aggressive while backtesting just to get more data, but I'm still sticking to the rules. And the good thing about this strategy is it's very rule based. So if it doesn't fit the rules, I can't take the trade. So it's now 12 o'clock. Previous hourly candle is bullish. We're still looking for buys. I see prices just moving sideways at this point. Let's see if we can start making some lower lows, lower highs, and get that shift. Okay, so now made a new low. Okay, we could potentially take this again a little bit sideways. I'm not that fussed on how gold is moving so far. I mean, I suppose it's just Monday at the minute, but that to me looks a bit sideways. But we do, near the end here, we do start getting clear lower lows and lower highs. We can see that there. So there's the shift. So if we can break above this high, this is a trade. This is fine. We'll put a buy in. Still risking 1%. Let's see what happens. Okay, so we wouldn't have got triggered into that one. Like I say, we're watching this closely. We clearly don't break the previous high. We wouldn't have taken that trade. We broke below there with that wick, so no trade. And I wouldn't be trying to get into that. So even though it's just a wick that broke that low, I wouldn't be moving stop loss a little bit, still hoping. The original trade idea is gone. Let's not chase trades here. Let's just wait for them to come to us. So bearish hourly candle previously. This now is a trade. This isn't quite as clear of an entry, but for me, what's happened here is price has made this high. It's then come down and made a higher low and failed to break that. That might be really quite tricky to see. Let's see it from a line chart perspective. Even the line chart's not that clear. However, from backtesting this pattern, I've noticed that when price does stay together like this, I do see that as a shift, which like I say is a little bit harder to see potentially, but the more I trade this, the more I'm realizing that these patterns do show up, and I quite like these patterns where it's not quite as clear. However, the theory is previous hourly candle bearish, so we believe that the next hourly candle is going to close bearish as well. We're currently bearish on the hourly candle. We've made this new high, so we have been pushing up. We've failed to break above that high. Well, potentially, we'll see what happens next. But we put the sell order in here at the break of the low. Like I say, sell stop on TradeZeller at the minute, but if we're watching this, we just get ready with a market execution. So there's the order in there, triggered in. Price continues down, that's break even, and there's the 1 to 2. There's something about these patterns that I really quite like the look of. It's quite hard to explain, but we've been pushing up. We have made this highest point. We've come down. We've made a lower high. I see that up there, believe it or not. If we go to the line chart now, we do get a lower high there. So potentially we could be waiting for that. But the more you backtest this, the more you see that even these patterns where it's not that clear, we do consider this a lower high. Once we've closed bearish, once we've broken below this area, and we're currently bearish on the current hourly candle, there is no problem in taking that. So yeah, that's... take that trade. We're currently up $200. It's Monday and we're about to get to the 2 p.m. candle, so let's keep skipping through, see what happens here. So here's another trading opportunity. Let's go back, because we would have actually been triggered into this sooner. So if we look bearish, what we're waiting for is price to clearly be making higher highs, higher lows, which it has. This one is obviously a lot clearer than the previous entry. If you look here, that we can see that we've got that shift from there to there, and that's nowhere near as clear with this one. With this one, it's a lot clearer, so we can see that we've making higher highs, higher lows. We've then failed to break this high. We've shifted. Hopefully you can see that. There's the shift, a bit clearer on this one. If we break below this low, we will be bearish on the current hourly candle. The current hourly candle is just about to open, so it's 2 o'clock now, so we'll be ready to get that market execution in. There's the 1 to 2 risk to reward. Sell order is in. Let's see what happens. Triggered in and then out. Sometimes it can be that quick. So that was a losing trade. Let's keep going forward to 3 o'clock. See how this hourly candle closes. We close bullish at the end there. So now we are looking for price to make lower lows, lower highs. So there's the new low. Here's a new higher low. Now with this one, we would need the current hourly candle to be bullish in order to take the trade, which doesn't happen until here, so potentially that's a big stop loss. But with gold moves around a lot, so stop losses aren't as bad when they're big on gold as opposed to GU, which is my main pair that I trade. So let's see what's happened here. We made this new low, come up, we made new high, lower high there. There's a higher low, there's the shift. If you look from the line chart, there's that shift we're looking for to be in line with the previous hourly candle, which is bullish. Even though it's not a nice close, it is a bullish candle. So if we break above this high, we're triggered into the trade. Again, not the best setup. Seems to be a little bit messy. I'm not sure on gold so far, but either way, let's keep going. Triggered into that one. Price just seems to move in like a weird way on gold. Well, I suppose it does on the 1 minute in general, but I don't know. It's just something a little bit. But like I said, very early days. It's just the first day of last week that I've been trading this. Now, potentially, would we have been stopped out there? Maybe. I mean, it depends on your broker. From my experience, what can happen sometimes is you can hit the stop loss when you don't actually hit the stop loss on the chart. So spreads can trigger you out. But other times, price can go through where your stop loss was set on the charts and you don't actually get triggered out of trades. It's a little bit weird, but potentially we were triggered out of that one. Potentially we're still in it. We wouldn't know until we actually trade this on live market. So let's keep playing forward here. It is now 4 o'clock. So we'll break even at least. But I was going to say the market tends to die down about 5 p.m. UK time, really. We got there in the end. Whether we would have got stopped out back there, I don't know. But either way, let's just keep looking for the pattern. Let's keep trading. Now we skip forward to the London session because we're now in the Asian session, which I don't trade. So skip forward now until 6 a.m. So go in the hourly chart, which just makes it easier to skip through. Let's get the view back to where it should be. We're at 2:30 in the morning, 3 o'clock, 4, 5. Skip through one more. There's 6 o'clock. Bearish close from 5 till 6. So we're looking for sells. We are just making lower lows and lower highs so far. So we want to see a high be created. There's the high. Here's a potential shift. So there we've made that high. If we go down to the line chart, there's the high. Here's the new lower high. Let's just wait for one more candle on this. Would we have been triggered into that? Let's see if we break this low. Potentially would have waited for one more candle to close just because we wanted to see on the line chart a lower high be created. So there's the highest point, and here's a new lower high. So we want that lower high to be formed really before we get triggered into the trade. Current hourly candle, in fact we won't be able to take that trade anyway because the current hourly candle doesn't turn bearish until here. So this would have to be the trade idea. So hopefully we get a bit more of a clearer lower high. Now ideally we see a candle close here and the next candle flies down and triggers us into the trade. So let's put that sell order in. Let's see what happens. That's potentially just a double top at that point. Okay, I wouldn't be taking that trade there. So what we wanted to see there is a clear lower high. So price to hold this level. There's the candle that we'd like to see. There's the candle to make that lower high and then price to fly down. But we didn't get that. We're now pushing up. So there's no trade there. Let's see what's happening on the hourly. Still bullish. Just keep skipping through. Like I say, we don't force trades. We wait for them to come to us. It's now Tuesday, 7 o'clock. Let's keep going. We're bullish. We're making lower lows, lower highs. There's that shift. We could take this. Lower lows, lower highs. If we break above that high, stop loss is below there. 1 to 2 risks to reward. Buy order is in. Triggered in. Price seems to just be messing around a little bit. And out. So there's a stop loss. And then was it in the 8 o'clock candle? It was. So I only take one trade per hourly candle. And that technically closed, well, it did close in the 8 o'clock candle, which means that I technically took a trade at 8 o'clock. I know I was in a trade at 8 o'clock, but I just don't re-enter on the same hourly candle. So there'll be no more trades there. We closed bearish. Let's look for highs to be formed. It's moving a little bit sideways. Let's look from the line chart. Higher highs, higher lows. We get that shift. This isn't the nicest. We won't be bearish until there, but I'm not going to take that. I'm going to wait for a bit more price action. Now this is just moving sideways for me now. We just need to wait. We just need to be patient. That's the hardest bit about trading, not taking trades that aren't there. We just need to wait. Good thing is we can be doing other things at this point. So let's just keep going. 10 o'clock, we have closed bullish. We're off the back of this huge bullish candle. We'd have to see some really nice price action on a 1 minute chart. I won't be taking anything that's too sideways just because look how much we've pushed. I don't necessarily want to be buying right at the top of a bullish move. So let's wait for some, if we get some really clear price action. I won't be taking any trades here because we've pushed too much. We don't want to be buying all the way up here. We want to be buying all the way down here. So let's keep going. We are making lower lows, lower highs now. That is a nice entry pattern. We are quite high up the current hourly candle. 39 minutes past 10, so there is time. This isn't my favorite trade, but the reason I'm taking this is lower lows, lower highs. We can see that there. This is the shift at the bottom. Be able to see it on the line chart. I really like the look of this shift. It's like that one from earlier where it's a bit closer together. It's more wicks. It's not as clear, but for some reason, I like them. The only problem with this one is we're off a huge bullish candle previously. We're currently bullish, but really quite high up. The current hourly candle, we want it to be entering down here ideally. This is more from a data collection point of view, this trade. Oh, there we go. We didn't get triggered into it anyway. Good, because I didn't like that. But I have to try and take these trades at the minute just to see if we can be profitable on gold. We closed bullish again. Again, we want to see some nice price action because I just feel like we're too high up for us to be getting into a trade here. Ideally, I'd like to see a bearish candle close now just for sell opportunities because price can't push up forever. So I would quite like to see a sell opportunity. Okay, we can look at this, I suppose. Yeah, this is okay. I mean, higher highs, higher lows. Failure to break that previous high. Go to the line chart. There's the new lower high. We get that shift. We'll be looking for a break of, I'm going to say this low, but this is quite a big stop loss now. Stop losses can be a bit bigger on gold though, just because gold moves a lot more than forex pairs seem to. Okay, we triggered into that one. And stop loss, yeah. We're just a little bit too far down on that one, but either way, let's keep going. $150 up. Keep pushing forward to 1 o'clock. Okay, so we closed bullish. Lower lows, lower highs. Let's see if we can get a shift. If you look at the hourly chart, price is just messing around a little bit now, so hopefully we can start moving a bit. Lower lows, lower highs. Did close bullish previously. I just see that as moving too sideways. Yeah, I don't like that. It's moving too sideways. We can just wait. We need to wait these trades out. We don't need to be jumping into things like this. Here we go. Now we're making lower lows. If we can hold a level, which we haven't yet. If we can just get an entry opportunity here. It's too far away from this low. Let's look at it from the 1 minute. The line chart. There's the new low. No, it's too far away. We want to see a new higher low here. Get that shift, break the high. I don't like that. And it seems to be moving sideways still. I'm not that fussed so far on how gold's moving. I'll be honest. This is more, like I say, just because people have asked about trading gold. Okay, so now I'm looking at a trade on the 3 o'clock candle. See, the previous hourly candle has closed bearish. We made higher highs, higher lows. If we look at the line chart, we can see higher highs, higher lows. There's that shift, really nice shift from a line chart perspective. We are bearish if we break this low. So once we get in there, we will be bearish on the current hourly candle. So we can put a stop loss above there, 1 to 2. Sell order is in. Triggered in. Break even at least, and then winning trade. So we're up $250. Let's keep going forward now. 4 o'clock. See what's happening. We seem to be breaking out of that range on the hourly chart, which is good. We'll see if we can make higher highs, higher lows on the 1 minute. There's a new high. See if we can get a shift. No, price is just continuing upwards, and now we're too close to 5 o'clock, so we don't want to be trading then. The volume in the market really dies down after the New York session, so we just wait till the next day, which is 6 a.m. UK time. This is when I start looking for trades. Close bullish on the previous hourly candle. I do want to see some lower highs and lower lows before taking a trade. I don't just want to be jumping into higher highs and higher lows. I like to trade when there's a shift as opposed to just jumping into these, even though price is clearly in an uptrend. Because what I want to see is sellers having an opportunity to try and push the market down. And if they fail to do so, we are back in line with the current hourly candle and the previous hourly candle. So lower lows, lower highs. There's a shift. This isn't that nice. And we've also had this huge bullish push here. But let's just see what this would look like. That's what a trade idea would be. Something like that. Again, a little bit sideways. I like to see it much clearer than this, but I suppose technically here's a new low. We failed to break below. We've got a nice shift from a 1 minute perspective. I'm just not that keen on the price action beforehand. But either way, let's put the buy order in. There's the order. Okay, and there we go. That's exactly why we watch price. We don't just put buy stops. We wait to see price clearly break that, which it didn't. And as I've said, if we put a buy stop and order there, we may have been triggered in with spreads. So now we can be looking for a trade. Because we didn't get triggered into that one, we have still got an opportunity for that hourly candle. So even though I take one trade per hourly candle, if I don't get triggered into that trade, I just delete the order and there is opportunity for me to put a new order in. I only count trades that we are triggered into as those that we actually take. The rest of them we can just wait. So now we did make lower lows, lower highs. We have had that shift. So this looks much better than the previous trade that we weren't actually triggered into. So let's see with this one. Buy order is in. Triggered in. And stop loss. Keep moving forward. 8 o'clock candle. Looks like we're going to close bearish. So now there's the shift, but it's all the way up there. So I'm just going to wait for something new to develop. There's a new high. These are the patterns that I like to see, even though that has closed higher. So that for me is just a new higher high. So let's wait for a new lower high to be formed. We're just a little bit too far away. We'd have to have a much bigger stop loss. Let's see if we can get one. No, we're still bullish on the current hourly candle. We just keep waiting this one out. and then we end up closing bullish. So now we're waiting for a new low. There's the shift. So we see this, lower lows, lower highs. There's the shift there. This one is hopefully much clearer. Lower lows, lower highs, a new higher low. If we break above there, we won't be bullish on the current hourly candle until up here though, which is a little bit higher. But if we do break that previous high and we're bullish on the current hourly, it's not the cleanest entry, but let's just put this in. See what happens. And there we go, we wouldn't have been triggered into that one, so we delete that order. But like I say, we wouldn't have pressed market execution. So we just hold off, wait for price to be closer to pushing in our direction, which doesn't like it's going to happen. This can happen a lot. Just keep going forward. 10 o'clock, we have closed bearish. We're now making higher highs and higher lows. Let's see if we can get an entry opportunity for a sell, which would be here. Again, not the cleanest entry. Price does seem to be going a little bit sideways, but if we break this low, yeah, not my favorite trade. This price moving sideways, it has made a new high. Price is pushing up. I don't know, but like I say, data collection. So sell order if we break below this level, which we do. Price continues down and then 1 to 2. So we're now up 300. Let's keep going. Wait for 11 o'clock. Bearish candle. Price isn't yet pushing up for me. I mean, it's a little bit trickier to see, but I suppose there's a low, there's a high, but I don't like that. I just like to see price be a bit more clear. Let's see if we can get some highs and lows. No, and we're all the way down here on the current hourly candle, so we don't want to be selling all the way down here. We want to see price push up closer to the entry before we get too close to 12 o'clock, which we don't get the opportunity to do. So we just keep going. We've now made a high, so if we can get a shift here, we can look for a trade. But price is shifting way too far down. Let's try this again. Lower lows, lower highs. If we break below there, no, that's way too big. Can't be taking that. Let's just wait it out. So we keep going. And we end up closing bullish. So now we wait for lower lows, lower highs. We just keep doing this over and over again. Just rinse and repeat. So, I'll skip forward too quick. Bear with me. I do see what happens here, that we would have got triggered in. I don't know what happens after that, but we can see that we have been making lower lows, lower highs. We get that shift. It's one of those shifts where there's still wicks there, which I quite like. We would be bullish if we break this high. I know that we get triggered into this one because I skipped forward too quick, but I genuinely don't know what happens after that. So here's the stop loss below there. Quite a big stop loss, but again, gold does move a lot. Put the buy order in. Triggered in, like I know we do get. Price comes back down and stops us out. There we go. I didn't know that happened. And let's just see what happens. Keep moving forward. Okay, so it's now 2 o'clock. Previous hourly candle bearish. Let's see if we get a sell opportunity here. Price pushing up. And there was no opportunity there for me, so we just keep going. Has there been any opportunities down here? No, let's keep going. 3 o'clock, we have closed bearish, so let's look for new highs. There we go. Oh, I've done it again. I keep skipping forward too quickly, and I know that we get triggered into this one, but this is a trade. If we go to the line chart, we can see higher highs, higher lows. There's the shift. If we break that previous low, which is here, we're currently bearish on the hourly candle. We put our stop loss above there. Now that is a big stop. However, we have just got into New York Open, so hopefully there's a bit more volume in the market. It's triggered into that one. Price is messing around a little bit. Can we not at least break even there? Break even. And winning trade. So even though I knew we got triggered into that one, I didn't know what happened after. We're now up $350, and we're also going through to the London session again. So we skip forward on the hourly, go back down to the 1 minute while we just get closer. What are we doing down here? We are currently bullish. Ended up closing bullish. We are making lower lows and lower highs. If we can hold this level, there's the shift. Sometimes I hate it when price does these two odd candles where it just goes down and straight back up. It just looks a bit odd. If you go to the line chart, there's a low, here's a new higher low. We're in line with the previous hourly candle. We're also going to be pushing bullish if we break that high. We can take this. I really don't like the look of these two candles there, but either way, this is the trade idea. A buy if we break that high. So we're making lower lows, lower highs. Failure to break this previous low. I hate these two candles, but either way, there's the shift. If we break that high, we triggered in, which we don't. So now we can delete that order. Like I say, we wouldn't have to on live markets because we wouldn't have put it in. We'd have a market execution ready to go. Let's see what happens if we can get a shift. We are making lower lows and lower highs. We're still bearish on the current hourly candle. By the time we flip bullish, we're all the way up here. No, there's no trade opportunity there for me. Let's keep going. What day are we on now? Thursday. Not long now. So bullish. Wait for 7 o'clock. Lower lows, lower highs. There's the shift. So high, lower low, lower high. There's the shift. Even though it looks a little bit more sideways, I'm happy to take this buy if we break above that level. Current hourly candle is bullish. Previous hourly was bullish. So let's see if we get triggered in and what happens if we do. 1 to 2. Stop loss to break even at 1.5. And we are triggered into that one. Price pushes up, break even. And whether we would have got out there at some point, but we didn't. So break even. Potentially a winning trade depending on, like I say, spreads. Either way, we close bullish. We're making lower lows, lower highs. We're just looking for that shift. It's literally the same thing over and over and over again. If we break above that high, we're going to include that wick. There's the shift, making lower lows, lower highs. Failure to break this low, shift, break of a high. Currently bullish. There's the buy. Triggered in. Sometimes we're in trades for a little bit longer, break even and winning trade. So we're now up $450. Let's keep going. 9 o'clock, we closed bullish. We are making lower lows and lower highs. We can see that there. The pattern, it is setting up quite a lot on gold so far, I'll be honest. Definitely something I'm going to look into. The only thing is, when we're scalping, we've sort of got our hands full with one pair. So potentially there's no reason to be trading multiple pairs. And this is solely because people have asked on the channel. But if we're already scalping on one pair, we don't necessarily need to be looking at multiple apart from for currency strength. So this was a buy opportunity straight away. And there we go. It is working well on gold, I'll be honest. Let's look at this one. I didn't really talk about this one. So lower lows, lower highs. There's the shift. Let's go down to the line chart. Lower lows, lower highs. There's the shift, breaking a high. Currently bullish on the hourly candle. And then again, it would now come down to whether you wanted to continue trading. So we've taken 2 winners this morning. Do you just walk away now for the rest of the day, or at least for the morning and go to the gym or do whatever? That's obviously your call. But for me, I am going to trade every hourly just for a data collection point of view. But it would be rare that I'd be trading every hourly candle on live markets. I much prefer to get hopefully 1 or 2 winners and then just not trade for the rest of the day, which is what I did on Friday. I took 2 winning trades and just walked away then. But from a data collection point of view, like I keep saying, we are okay to be trading every hourly. I do see this as a downtrend up here. So we made this highest point, we then made a lower high, violate the previous low, which is here. So I would see that as a buy if we break above this high, which we don't. We continue downwards, so we delete that order. We just keep doing this over and over and over again. And then that is a complete indecision candle. If we zoom right in, yes, it's bullish, but there's no reason to be trading that. If we look at it from there, it's just an indecision, and we've just taken 2 winners. So we're not taking that. We're skipping forward until 1 o'clock, see what happens. It's Thursday now. So higher highs, higher lows. We're looking to sell. There's that shift. Not the nicest pattern this, however, it does follow the rules, so we've got to take the trade, especially while backtesting. If If we look at it on a line chart, let me just put the order in. Look at it on the line chart, we can see higher highs, higher lows, highest point, failure to break the highest point, shift to make that lower high. If we break below this low, we'll be triggered into the trade, which we do. And this one was a stop loss. So keep going forward now until 2 o'clock. Price did end up flying down, but we were stopped out before it did. Keep going. I think there was news at 1:30 as well, so I don't actually trade news. Obviously, I've taken a trade now, but while trading on live market, I usually stay away from the hourly candle before and after news, just because it can move the markets a lot. So if we look how big this bearish candle is compared to the others, so there has been news there, I think, at 1:30. Now with this, I don't see this as higher highs, higher lows. I just see this as lower high continuation. This is not how we want to be trading. We want to see price push up first. So buyers have the opportunity to push price up. And if they show that they're failing to do so, then it just means that potentially there's more sellers in the market. So we could be looking at this now because buyers have had their chance. They push price up to here. If we break below here, I mean, we're not bearish on the current hourly candle until there. So we could look at that for a trade. Big stop loss, but this is literally off the back of some news. We're making higher highs, higher lows, failure. There's the shift. Not ideal, but again, just taking this to get some data. Still hold this because we haven't broken above, so we would hold on to this. Wait to see if we get triggered in, which we do. And there's your 1 to 2. So we're now up 600. Let's keep going. 3 o'clock, bearish. Higher highs, higher lows. No entry opportunity yet. We want to see the higher highs, higher lows, but then the shift close to the entry. Like this, but I much prefer it a bit closer. It's quite far down that, but we can look at that as a shift. Yeah, not ideal this one. I much prefer closer shift than this, but either way, let's put it in. Let's see what happens. Price triggers us into the trade. Break even. And break even. Okay, so it's now 4 o'clock. Let's keep going through now until Friday. So we'll skip forward to the 6 o'clock candle, which is there. And we have been making a new low. Let's see what happens here. So there's your low. Keep going. Lower lows, lower highs. Did we get a shift? Not yet. We've pushed up. We're too far away from where price pushes bullish. No, I don't see a trading opportunity there. Personally, I mean, I suppose that is a shift, but I just see this now as higher highs, higher lows. This was the shift all the way back here, but there was no entry. But we can see that we've been pushing down, whereas here, I do see this as us just continuing upwards. So I'm not going to take that one. I'm going to wait now until 7, where we close bearish. Let's see if we can start making higher highs, higher lows, which we have. Here's the highest point. Well, no, all the way up. Here's highest point now. Probably not going to flip bearish during this current hourly, so we just keep going. Okay, so lower lows, lower highs. We are bullish. We're definitely looking for a buy here. If we can get a shift, which we do. Again, not ideal. I'd like this to be a bit closer, but we can take this if we break this high. We will be bullish at the point of entry. So let's put the buy order in and see what happens. Triggered into that one. Quite a big stop loss, so we might be sat in this for a while. Price is pushing up, continues up, break even. We got there. We were sat in that for a while, but we did get there in the end. So reason for that one is lower lows, lower highs. You can see that there. From a line chart perspective, there's the shift, there's the break of the high. That's okay. It was just quite a big stop loss, and that's why we were sat in that one for a while. So let's keep going. Currently up 700, so no entry opportunity here. Looks like we're going to close bearish. We're looking for sells if we can make higher highs, which we have done. So this is a nice shift, making higher highs, higher lows. We won't be bearish on the current hourly candle though until here, and I don't like these trades where we have to wait. I much prefer to see the low get broken and us to be triggered into that trade. From a stop loss perspective, it is quite high. We will put this in and see what happens, because sometimes what can happen is we just have a huge bearish candle which triggers us into the trade. So we do have to put them in and just wait to see what happens. So for me, there's no entry there. See what happens now. Yeah, I mean, we did continue down. There was just something about that I didn't quite like. I don't like those ones as much. I mean, there's the shift, there's the break of the low. If you did, we'd have to wait for there to be bearish. I don't know about that one, but it looks like it would have been a winning trade. But the reason I didn't like that is the shift is up here. By the time we break the low, we also want to be bearish on the current hourly. We'd have to wait until down here. I don't like taking those trades. I should have taken that. I just don't like taking those trades. So let's see what happens now. We're pushing up, making higher highs, higher lows. We're looking for sells because the previous hourly candle doesn't look like we're going to get an entry. So let's keep moving forward. Bullish, lower lows, lower highs. Here's the shift pretty much immediately. So if we go to the line chart, illustrate it a bit better. Lower lows, lower highs. Here's the higher low. So we can look for a buy if we break above there. Buy order is in. Triggered into that one. Price pushes up. Does that break even? Yeah. I think there's news coming up on Friday. And I think what happened there is this wick got us to break even, came down, stopped us out of break even. So all good. There's the news. So again, I don't actually look at that while backtesting, but I wouldn't be trading live markets there just because of news. I wait for price to settle back down. And then we closed bullish. We have been making lower lows and lower highs if we look on the line chart. Lower lows, lower highs. We moved a bit sideways there. Let's just stay away from that because of that sideways movement. But again, there's another potential buy. I should really be taking these. The way I saw that then is we're looking to buy because of previous hourly candle. We have been making higher highs and higher lows. I was going to take that. It's a bit annoying when that happens, but higher highs, higher lows. There's the shift. Broke that high, price flew up. Anyway, let's keep going forward and let's see what happens. Moving a little bit sideways now on the hourly, but either way we're just going to keep going here, get as much data as we can. Price just continues up. I mean, there's that shift pattern again, but for me this is just higher highs, higher lows, so it's not something to take, but I'm just showing you how powerful that pattern actually is. It's now 4 o'clock on a Friday. Probably wouldn't be trading at this point, but let's see if we get anything. And until 5 o'clock. So here's the potential shift. Lower lows, lower highs. If we break above there, we can be into this trade. Stop loss is way too big. I can't take that. Let's keep moving forward. We would have probably been triggered into that one, but yeah, there we go, 5 o'clock. And that is the end of the trading day. So if we skip forward now on the hourly just to get to the end of the session. Okay, so here are the results. We got a gain of $700. We took 19 trades and we had a win rate of 62%. So potentially I will be incorporating gold. I mean, obviously this is only last week's worth of data, so we need a lot more than this. But either way, 19 trades. Our Zeller score was an 87. So in terms of consistency, drawdown, win percentage, they were quite good. But I mean, we do trade the same time, so that's the consistency is probably going to be quite high. And it looks like we were profitable every day that we traded, which is always a good thing. If we go into reports, we'll be able to see a bit more of a breakdown here. So we took 19 trades, we took 10 winners, 6 losers, 3 break-evens. Max consecutive wins was 2, max consecutive losses was 2. Average hold time 29 minutes. Quite a nice week there. I'll probably do a little bit more data testing on this before potentially trading gold as well. Our best performing day was Thursday. Our least performing day was Tuesday. Most active day was Thursday, and our best win rate was actually a Friday, which is a little bit weird because there's usually quite a lot of news on Friday. But if we go into the trade time, we'll be able to see the most profitable hours. So best performing hour was 3 o'clock, and for me New York opens at 2:30, so quite a lot of volume stepping into gold at 3 o'clock, so maybe a good time to trade that. Least performing hour was at 7 o'clock, where we took 3 trades and we lost $100. Most active hour was 1, and our best win rate was at 8 o'clock. We go down to 7, like I say, we lost 100 at 7, made 200 at 8, our best was at 3. So yeah, like it said. I mean, yeah, that looks good. This is only a week's worth of data. There will be a lot more back testing to go through, but the reason I just did a week is because when I'm going through every single trade, it does take a lot of time. So these videos will be, I mean, how long have I been recording now? It's 64 minutes. So yeah, these videos will be a lot longer if I was to take every single trade, if I did a whole month's worth of back testing. So, but either way, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions at all on this strategy, please let me know in the comments. And thanks very much for watching.